All right. Sundays are for caffeination. Ooh. This is COFOH Live Undead. I am your host, Daniel Crosier, and I am joined by Jaron Lockridge and Ketrick Copeland.
You write something on my face?
Jaron, Ketrick, how are you guys?
They're doing great, man.
Yeah, doing real good.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show. It's great to chat with you. Yeah, Jaron or Jaron. God, I'm terrible. Jaron, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting everything tongue tied. I feel anyway, but I'm glad I'm not too off the mark. But sir, thanks for coming on the show. And Ketrick, we've had you on before. Thanks for coming back again. I'm glad I didn't scare you off last time.
No problem, man. I'm glad to be here again.
Oh, great. Jaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, to our viewers that aren't familiar with your work. Tell us a little bit about how you got into filmmaking.
Well, I'm from Jackson, Tennessee, and I've been filmmaking since I've been, I would say, right out of high school. This is, early. I graduated in 04. And the thought of making film seemed far-fetched at the time. I was, had the idea of doing it, but I was too broke to move to LA to pursue it. So I thought, oh, well, that's just a far-fetched dream. Let me do some other things. And then, YouTube started coming around and, technology made it a lot easier to start shooting film. So I decided to jump right back into it and started writing. I've always been a writer. And then just started deciding to make my own films. And since 2016, I started my company, Misguided Perceptions Media Group. And I think I'm currently on feature number 8. So I've been producing my own content since 2016, and just something that I'm in love with, and I'm going to continue doing is making films. So it's just about the simplistic way to describe myself and my journey to here.
Man, that's awesome! Wow, you're already 8 features in with your company. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's I'm not gonna say it's easy, but
yeah.
I mean we're putting a little work in over here.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear. Before we get really into talking about Succuba.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the challenges that you faced, working out in Tennessee?
Well, as far as, it's not, I would say just with any low budget film, cast is a challenge, just finding dependable cast. I'm at a point now where I work with enough people that I know who I can depend on and stuff like that. Even like, I've had, even with this film, very film Succuba, I had a cast member who was a no-show, and we had to kind of scramble and do that. And these are paying roles, so you can only imagine when at the point when I weren't able to pay people. So, it's just, that's the biggest challenge, I would say. I believe they call Tennessee a right to work state. I believe that's the term.
Oh,
So a lot of that, when it comes to permits and stuff like that, we don't have to worry about that like somewhere in California where you have to almost get a permit for everywhere. So it's a little bit easier out here in that degree. But yeah, I would say my biggest challenge is just making sure that I don't show up to call time and wondering where my cast members are.
right,
Yeah.
right. Ketrick, tell us a little bit how you got hooked up with Jaron here.
So I met Jaron several years ago when I had moved back to Mississippi for a while. And so I went to a film festival that was in Memphis, and I watched a few films. I watched one of his films. And then at the end, they had like a
Uh-oh.
I think we lost him.
Oh, no. We lost Ketrick. Oh, Ketrick, come back to us. Oh, man. Darn technical difficulties. Yeah. Ketrick, you back?
Okay. Let me start over because I think we had a kind of connection issue right there. So I met Jaron when I moved to Mississippi. I went to a film festival in Memphis, watched one of his films, and then I met him after the film was over, and I introduced myself and just kind of kept in touch with him, and let him know that if he ever had anything going on, to let me know, keep me in mind. And then he did have a film to come up. It was a film called Smith. It was a small role, and I played the role and did what I was supposed to do. And then when this film Succuba came up, he had me in mind for a particular role, and he called me up and asked me if I would be interested in it, and I was like, yeah, hands down, I would be interested in it because just like him, I like working with people that I know that are dependable, that's professional, and that's going to get things done and not, just be messing around. And Jaron's one of those type of people. So we just kind of stayed in touch and connected, and, we worked on 2 films together so far.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad when, talent, can coalesce and embark on really cool projects like this.
Mm-hmm.
Jaron, can you talk to us a little bit about what Succuba is, what it's about, and what inspired you to proceed in making this film?
Yeah, Succuba, the synopsis for Succuba is a evil presence attaches to a lonely widower who intends to guard it for as long as he can. It's no spoiler. It's about a succubus, if anybody knows about that. And when I first learned about what that was, I was kind of intrigued by it. It was a film festival that I went to in Kentucky. I think it's Springfield, Kentucky. I'm not sure if that festival is still going on, but I met the director, the guy who ran that film festival. He was director of an old film called Death by Temptation, James Bond III. Old horror film with Kadeem Hardison and Bill Nunn and a few other people in it. And I met him, and that was the first time I've heard of what a succubus was. And I remember thinking, man, that'd be cool to make a movie about that. And I came up with Succuba and wanted to just make this tale about, these 2 people just kind of going, one leading the audience to maybe he's crazy, maybe he's not. And then, once the story opens up, and just thought it would be a cool way to write this particular movie. And Ketrick and my other lead, Keith Johnson, man, they just did an amazing job because it's all on their shoulders to pull this movie through, and they did an excellent job, pulling off that vision that I had for this movie. And to me, they did perfect on those roles.
Yeah, Ketrick, I thought it was pretty interesting, seeing you pop up on screen, as the sheriff, and then I was like, oh crap, there's going to be some legal shootout stuff, and and then all of a sudden you go fishing in it. like, yeah, but it sets the tone for the film because it feels like a microcosm. It's very insular, and and then the way it's portrayed too, it's like kind of desaturation of color, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be kind of a moody, kind of tone, kind of feel, for a horror movie, and I thought that was really interesting. Can you talk a little bit about Ketrick, how you approached your character and what the tone you were trying to strike?
Yeah, so it helped a lot being from the South because a lot of the things that this character did, I could relate.
Oh, damn it!
Every time, right when he gets in the middle of it, it just says no, not so fast.
Ketrick, you have to have faith, man. Believe in the internet. You'll pop back on. All right, and then we're gonna cut to this dancing number. Sorry, Ketrick, you're gonna have to start over. We lost you. Oh no, we don't have audio. Oh, Ketrick, check your. Ketrick, you lost audio. We don't have audio, buddy. Let me message him real quick. Oh no, poor guy. He keeps going. I think he's broadcasting to a different. Oh,
whatever he's saying is very interesting. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really into it. So, Ketrick, check your audio or check your private chat. We don't have audio from you now. All of a sudden, you might have to bounce out and come back in. We lost you. Yeah, check out or exit out of here and then come back in and re-up your audio. We lost you, buddy. Did you freeze frame again? Okay. Jaron, it might be you and me for a little bit. Yep, we can't hear you, buddy. Can you hear us? Can you hear Jaron and I? No? Yeah. Exit out and then come back in. Let me sorry about this, Jaron.
Gotta love good old internet issues.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So just private chatted you to exit out and come back in, Ketrick. Jaron. So, with the tone of this, was this a pretty conscious approach?
Yeah. At first, a lot of the look of it was after I've shot the film and it was in the editing process. Early on, I really wanted to go black and white with it.
Okay. Nice.
And I was loving that, but then I kind of put a little bit more color into it and went with this more of a desaturated look. I just kind of wanted to, especially since this was a film that mostly revolved around two characters, I didn't want it to be. I wanted to be more focused on them, so I kind of pulled some of the color back, gave it this noir feel. And that was just something that kind of worked with it once I got into the editing process. It was nothing that I foresaw before I started it. It was just kind of feeling my way out during editing, and it just worked out, in my opinion, that way when it was all said and done.
Nice. Yeah, I thought the visuals were really striking. There's some frames that looked very painterly, like how you had everything lit. And sometimes the landscaping and like there's a juxtaposition, in with some of the actors to some of the backgrounds that I thought were very striking. Yeah. Ketrick, are you back with us? Oh no! There he is. Hey, Ketrick.
I don't know what's going on. I just turned off the Wi-Fi and see if it would work better without the Wi-Fi.
Oh, Oh, okay. Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But normally my connection is usually pretty strong, and I'm sitting right by the router, so I don't know what's going on. But I turned off the Wi-Fi, so hopefully it'll it'll act right.
No worries. Trevor just chimed in. He wanted to say hey to everybody.
What's up, Trevor?
I just met him yesterday at Free Comic Book Day. So,
okay.
Yeah, turns out he hosts his own film series at Alamo Drafthouse here in town.
Oh yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting too that you eventually do see like glimpses of the Succuba, how did you guys decide to kind of come to a look? Because I know with like a succubus, it's kind of one of those undefined things. It's always seems to be like a female of sorts, but it's pretty interesting coming up with a little bit more of a demonic presence. I thought.
Yeah. Once I kind of saw the basis of what the the succubus was based on, and then I kind of researched to see if first were there any other movies other than the one I was inspired by, and I noticed that a lot of them were a lot more literal to the sense of what a succubus was, and a lot more, a lot more, if you know what it is, you know what a succubus does. It was a lot more literal to the definition of it. So I kind of wanted to go another route, more of a horror route to it, and kind of go back to what it truly is. So I figured, with the name, if anybody knew what it was, they would kind of think, okay, I kind of got an idea what this is about. And then once they finally meet it, like, it's some angles of that in there, but it's totally not that. I kind of went my own flavor with it. So right when the succuba reveals itself, like you would never have saw that coming. So that was kind of effective, especially when we screened it for the first time with the audience. I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I wanted that to happen.
Nice.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to go my own way, kind of stay true to what the definition of it was, but go my own way with it for this particular story.
Nice. The Ketrick, working with Jaron on set, did he ever have any like helpful tips, or did he just like tell you just roll with it, do your own thing?
Well, Jaron is pretty easy to work with. He's pretty laid back. He's not one of those directors that that gets on the edge and that's all up in your face. No. So basically, he kind of gives you the freedom to kind of do it how you see it, and then if he feels that it needs to make a little tweak to it or whatever, he'll give you some directions and say, hey, let's do it this way and see how this works. And if it doesn't work, then, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how it was, taking direction from Jaron.
Nice. Yeah. Working, in these, smaller budget projects, you're on obviously a financial crunch, and then sometimes a resource and time crunch. Jaron, are you able to work with your cast and crew to like give them the space to help create in a collaborative sense?
Yeah, most of it's I'm not sure where the saying comes from, but I've heard where most of directing is casting. So you have to that makes it a whole lot easier whenever you have a vision or something and you get the right people to be in those roles. So when I was writing this particular film, like the character, for each character, I already had in mind Ketrick. Like I approached him directly. I didn't do a casting call or nothing. I was like, hey, I got this role. Would you be interested in reading for it? And he checked it out. And I mean, when I write it, I had them in mind for it. So it just made it seamless because I knew that they were perfect fits for it already. So a lot of times to keep from, my budget being an issue whenever I'm making films, a lot of times I already think of somebody who I want to be in those roles, And then, I write within my means. I'm not out here doing crazy blow up scenes and stuff like that. So I write within my means to keep it from, my budget being a detriment to the project. So a lot of times, like, even though this film, you can tell it's lower budget, like nobody would be able to guess what the budget was, because I just keep that formula whenever I'm writing my projects, and just make it as high quality as possible, to the way you won't even see the budget as an issue with the project.
Right. No, that's awesome. It's it's really interesting, because I always look at these things, these restriction issues, whether it's budget or resources or what have you, as just a way to innovate. Just that moniker of limitations breed innovation.
It definitely brings creativity out of you. If you're not a creative person, I think I saw I can't think what's his name that did the Gladiator series, the director.
It's like Spartacus.
Yeah,
that series. Sam Raimi, I think, was the producer on that.
Sam Raimi. I can't think of it. Well, it was one of the directors. He was like, I can't make anything under $100 million.
Yeah,
and I was like, I can only imagine having a budget that big. Like, it's a variety of things I can do. So, usually I think if you can make a film with no budget whatsoever, like you can, to me, when you get to a point to where you have these, 8-figure films or whatever, like the possibilities are endless, because you're so used to already making something with nothing. So when you do get a budget, like a lot of the times the studios will love you, because you probably won't even need all that money. You can get that vision out and, do it that way. So yeah, it definitely brings creativity out of you.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Ketrick, I always, you and I go back like 10 years, I think.
At least.
Yeah. With Colfax and 15th, when we screened that. And I think that was that your first feature film?
I don't think it was my first feature, but it wasn't too far up there, because I was just starting out a few years before that, so I was still, kind of finding my way and connecting with people and that kind of thing. So it may have been maybe my second or third. I can't remember.
Nice. Yeah. Ever since then, I've always known you to be just really prolific in getting more work and more opportunities to be on the big and small screen. Are you and Jaron planning any new projects together?
Well, at some point, hopefully. I know Jaron's always doing something. So hopefully at some point, we'll be working together again. Hopefully sooner than later.
Nice. And Jaron, before we went live, you said you're right now you're just working on writing. Anything? Is there anything that you can share with us?
Well, I have a project that I'm currently, I've done writing. I'm currently just messing around with the casting on that I possibly will do this summer. And an older project, excuse me, that I've written as well, that I hope to produce later on this year. So a lot of it is just like right now when I'm in that groove to where I got that writer's itch. I just love to write as many projects as I can. And that way, I got projects ready to go. I just because of the way that I write, I film my projects and I edit my projects. So because I can give myself that green light to start working on something, and usually it just comes to a point of when I plan my year out, what block I'm gonna do this film, I'm gonna do this film. So I'm just in that point right now of what I'm going to shoot. I have one in mind that I'm already casting for that I hope to start this summer. And it's called Betray. It was actually my very first film. So I'm doing a remake of that, and then just I'm always working on something. It's just you just never know. It just a lot of it matters with budget. A lot of it matters with schedule, and it's just it's ever fluid with me.
Right. So many, talking so much with actors and directors and stuff. Yeah, and initially you guys, start out as fans of in the fields that you're working with. Is there any Jaron, is there any horror film that is always like your go-to, or one that really inspired you to become a filmmaker?
Oh, that is a great question. There's so many out there.
I know it's a plethora, right?
I mean, I believe almost everybody has to go. Halloween is such a classic. Like I love Halloween. An older one, Tales from the Hood. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Oh, that's awesome! I think you're the first person to mention that movie on this show. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is a super underrated movie in my mind. And now, as far as modern, I recently watched the new Evil Dead. I love the Evil Dead series.
Cool.
So it's a lot of, there's so many I can barely even even name them all. But I would say Halloween was one of the very first ones that Night of the Living Dead, like all of those older 90s horrors. That was like the sweet era of horror right there.
Nice. That's cool. How about you, Ketrick?
Man, my movie back in the day was Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I love some Freddy Krueger. It scared the heck out of me because I was scared to go to sleep. But I like Jaron. I like a lot of those old classics, like Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like when I was coming up, as a young boy, I used to watch those movies all the time. Scared the heck out of me, but I watched them. I watched them anyway. So
we probably shouldn't have been watching.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. As many of the viewers know, Texas Chainsaw has always been my go-to, and it still gives me nightmares every time I see it. Yeah. The original one, anyway. Good God, that thing is just grisly. But
I just watched it the other day. It still holds up to this day.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. At Colorado Festival of Horror this year, we've got a number of guests that have been announced from Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2.
Oh wow.
So we'll have Carolyn Williams out here from Texas Chainsaw 2, and she was also had a small role in Renfield as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. But Nightmare on Elm Street's always an amazing classic, and I grew up on the Evil Dead movies, so to see them continuing that's always, especially from a filmmaker standpoint. Good Lord, talk about these amazing moving shots left and right and stuff.
Yeah. The new Evil Dead, the open sequence, I believe a lot of people are talking about that. Like it was just so cool the way that came out. So
nice.
People are pushing the medium, so it's good to see.
Yeah. So that's cool. I've yet to check it out. So no spoilers, damn it.
I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah. But for our viewers to get to know you a little bit better in your work too. Jaron, tell us, which film would you recommend that they see of your work?
I'm my own harshest critic, so I would most definitely tell you to watch some. I would say watch Succuba.
Nice.
I have one that just came out called The Reaper Man. Just came out. It's a horror film as well. Check it out.
Where can we see it?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere where TVOD, if transactional, where you can rent or buy Voodoo.
Nice.
iTunes, Google Play, all the usuals. It's on some cable networks as well. So yeah, it's out currently. Yeah, I would say if you look at my IMDb, if it was made between 2021 and now, you'll check those out because I'm a harsh critic when I my own stuff, and like it's just part of being creative. You're gonna always critique yourself, and next year I might say don't watch none of these films. I might be like, don't. But yeah, I would say, definitely I'm proud of Succuba. I'm proud of that film. I'm proud of the Reaper Man, the two, because I actually premiered both of these as a double feature.
Oh, no kidding.
Out here in Memphis to a sold out crowd on Halloween night. Like I had that vision. I was like, it'd be so cool to have like a double feature premiere. Like I haven't heard of a filmmaker premiering two original projects at the same time. Other than like Quentin Tarantino and I think Robert Rodriguez. So I was like, it'd be so cool to have like a Halloween double feature. And we did a Halloween double feature premiere on Halloween night, and it went pretty well. So that was something where these two films will kind of be linked together forever in a way.
Wow, that does sound like a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like that, in the theater experience with all of these fans, and especially on Halloween night. I hope a lot of people dressed up.
Yeah, I think we might have had one or two. It wasn't too many people, but it was. I mean, horror films to me are the best in theaters. Like you have to see those around people and to see if they're really effective. And it was a great experience, especially after dealing with COVID when we didn't have that opportunity. And I had two films that I couldn't even have a screening for because of COVID.
Wow.
Because even after COVID, things weren't still quite right. People were kind of timid to come into the theaters. So this past year, having to have my first screening since COVID with a bunch of people in the theater, that was a pretty amazing experience.
Nice. Ketrick, were you able to go to the premiere?
I was, and I've been bragging on those two movies to everybody because what a lot of people might not realize is that Jaron filmed, edited, and premiered both of those movies. This all happened within the same year. Like we're not talking, it took him a year to make these films and then he premiered them. No, he did all of this probably within a 6-month time frame.
Good Lord.
So that's my motivation when I tell people there is no excuse for you to get out there and make a film. I was like, I know somebody that did this with 2 feature films, all within a 6-month time frame.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's quite the Herculean task, you guys. Yeah. Since I'm not familiar with the Reaper Man, Ketrick, are you in it as well?
No, I'm not in the Reaper Man.
Okay. All right. But man, that's so cool. What an amazing what an amazing thing. And what a great way to display it too, to unveil it to a live audience. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. So I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but I just, I'm always trying to think of new ways to do stuff. And, I kind of, when I prepped for Succuba, I was like, I knew the script was on the shorter end, and I was like, this is probably going to turn out to be 70 to 80 minutes. What if I can write something else that's within that range and just premiere them together? And that's kind of was my thought frame when I did that. And I always wrote, and I kind of had that date in mind. Like I wrote it in pencil. I didn't make it permanent just in case it didn't work out. And when it got close, we shot, I believe, Succuba, I want to say in May, Ketrick. I think we shot it in May and finished up maybe like the very early part of June, and a couple weeks passed, and then we went right into the Reaper Man on my other production. And, I finished editing the Reaper Man maybe a week before the premiere. So it was all kind of bang, bang, bang. And we got it.
Shit.
So it turned out really, really well.
Wow, that's impressive. My hat is off to you guys. Oh, wow, that is intense. Oh man. I wish I could have experienced that. That sounds like such a fun night, and what a great way to spend it with friends and fans.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
God, that's one for the books. Ketrick, back to you too. With people like discovering your works, what would you recommend people see of your work?
I definitely would say check out Succuba because I play one of the lead roles, and it was a little different for me. I instead of me switching up my voice, I was able to just use my natural accent, throw
Nice.
on a cowboy hat, and and I had quite a bit of camera time. So I would definitely say check that one out. I also did a movie called Jukin, which was which got picked up by Stars,
Cool.
and now it's on Tubi, and it's on Amazon Prime as well as a whole bunch of other places. So that's another movie I would say to check out some of my work. And then there's a lot of other stuff where I had smaller roles, but on a major scale. I still have a movie on Netflix that's called Amateur, where I had a small role in that. I did a small role on a show on HBO Max called Doom Patrol. So I've been doing some things over the years, some small and some bigger.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Doom Patrol. I love those offbeat, comic book characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Um, wow. Yeah. So I'm still kind of zooming about like the double feature thing too. Good God, that's got to be probably not going to do that again, or are you going to try and top it and do like a three film thing?
I think double was the max because
Yeah.
the attention spans are getting so much shorter now. So I was
Yeah.
kind of worried like people probably start leaving on the second film of the double feature. But
Oh no.
everybody stayed and everybody stayed as long as they could for the Q&A. So that kind of worked out. But yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think I'd push that again because it's probably getting to the point where more and more 80-minute features are probably about to be the norm because these attention spans are just getting so much shorter. So
Yeah. With where you're at with your career, what's something that that you've learned that you can really pass on to new filmmakers kind of entering this creative realm.
I would say is nowadays is like Ketrick was saying is no excuse. I the way I work, I go by this mantra as the guerrilla filmer, and it was something where I used to look at it as a a detriment, but now I look at it as a plus because over the years, just making so many films and trial and error and just kind of knowing what I can and can't do within my limits, and I've just maximized that. So I know I can't go out here and do these crazy crane shots and stuff like that. So how do I make shooting on a tripod look as interesting as possible? How can I frame to make it look as interesting? Just using the basics and maximizing the basics to make a great film. And I would just tell anybody starting, how know your means and beat the hell out of those boundaries. Just make sure that you're making the best film that you possibly can make, and continue to improve and take that criticism and improve. And you can make great projects even with no budgets. I've seen horrible projects with $100 million budgets, and I've seen great projects with no budget. So, it's all going to be on the story. Make sure it starts with the script, write a great script, and then everything else is just icing on top of that cake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. You're working on a couple of different projects, having a number of scripts, kind of ready to go. Is there like, something that you have yet to approach that, you really want to tackle, like further down the road?
I have I have a Western that I've outlined very much that I know I won't have the budget to do that right now. And hopefully I get to a point to where I can make that film. But I love westerns, and you know, I'm one of those. I love the old, you know, Sergio Leone type. You know, I love those type of films. But I know you need so much to make them happen. And you know, I have an outline for that film. To the side, I have an action film. I love action films, but I know it's no way in the world. So I have some films that, you know, I said one day I'll get to pull these out that old bucket and put those together. But you know, right now I'm just, you know, building my company brick by brick, and you know, things are, you know, are looking up. I'll say that, and hopefully one day soon, you know, in the near future, I'll be able to make one of those projects that I got, you know, tucked away for right now.
Nice. Well, I knew an actor that looks really good in a cowboy hat. I think, yeah, Ketrick here.
Yeah.
You know what? That cowboy hat kind of grew on me. You know, I had never worn a cowboy hat before until last year when
Really?
I worked on another project where I had a small role. It's called Colorado Christmas, and I played the manager to a country music star. And so the hat and the, you know, the blazer, it was just so fitting. And I think that's kind of how my other character for Jaron's film kind of almost came into play, from that look with that cowboy hat. And I was like, I'm kind of liking it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, it looks good on you. I thought you've worn it a couple times.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now I just need to spin that barrel of a gun a couple times.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Hey, yeah, that would look really cool on film. Yeah, yeah. Everybody kind of, you know, yeah, growing up wants to be the, you know, the cowboy and play in the West and everything like that. It's really, yeah, it's such a, you know, kind of a romantic, you know, kind of notion, and really, you know, that piece of Americana that everybody can relate to. Yeah, God, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, you know, with all these projects that you guys are working on and stuff too, and you know, being fans of horror films, is there some place that people can go to, you know, to catch you at a film festival or something? Do you have any public appearances coming up?
Not. I have a couple submissions for some film festivals that I haven't heard back from. And I'm waiting to hear that. So that'll be announced if I do hear back from them. And right now it's just promoting these two films, just getting them out there, you know, through social media and whenever I meet somebody, and you know, through other means. And until, you know, one of these other festivals let me know, and then I'll make sure to put that out there. But as far as just right now, I don't have anything that comes to mind. I may, and I'm drawing a total blank right now, but yeah, right now I don't think of anything. Most of it is past already for earlier part of this year.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Ketrick?
No, I don't have any films that are playing in any festivals right now. A couple years ago, I did, but not as of now. Nothing.
Not right now. Yeah. Yeah, and where can people go to, you know, find your films and support you there, Jaron?
Right now, I would say, you know, it's a lot of mixed feelings about Tubi, which is understandable. Okay. But I would say, you know, just go and search Tubi. Right now, Tubi is, as far as especially for independent filmmakers, they are doing us really well right now. Where, you know, where a platform like Amazon is, you know, I have my own feelings about Amazon, but like, you know, I have projects on like Succuba, for one, is on Tubi. It's on Amazon, it's on Apple TV. It just got picked up by Zumo. So it's getting more and more platforms, and you know, it should be easy to find. You just Google Succuba movie and you should see a list of platforms, and choose whichever one is your preference to go watch it, and we love your support and your feedback when you see the film.
Nice. Yeah, Ketrick, where can people see more of your work? Obviously, Succuba on Tubi.
I have like Jaron said, some people have different feelings about Tubi, but Tubi has a combination of a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of Hollywood movies there that you've seen. Then there's a lot of independent films, and then there's a lot of independent films, like the bottom of the barrel film. There's some of those on there too. But Tubi is a great platform. It's a great platform to get your work out there. I have quite a few movies on Tubi as well as Amazon Prime. So if you just type in my name on either one of those platforms, you'll see there's some movies on there that I didn't even know was on there. So but yeah, you just type in my name on either one of those, and it should pull up a list of stuff.
Nice.
And Tubi has, like, I don't know if your viewers are familiar with it. It has an excellent range of horror films on there.
Yes.
Like, you have a lot of independent stuff. Like, you just have to look and judge from the trailer. But I don't know if you're familiar with the Hatchet series. Like, I found that on Tubi, and I was like, it's a lot of great films, especially in the horror genre. If you get on there, that you won't find anywhere else. Like, it's like great horror films on there. So I you have to sift through a lot of the lower end stuff, but I love the platform. It's free, and it usually has a ton of options to choose from.
That's cool. Yeah. I think I caught like the first Terrifier movie on Tubi.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
There's a lot of international horror and international independent films too. Yeah, it is kind of a smorgasbord for all flavors.
Oh, a lot. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Korean horror films. I don't think people talk about those enough. Those are some pretty good ones.
Yeah,
I have to check those out.
Yeah, what's that, Ketrick?
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. South Korean, horror is amazing, and then you got Japanese horror, and there's a lot of great Japanese and Korean horror movies and TV shows on stuff like Netflix.
Yeah. Like a lot of it. I think I think Train to Busan is one, I think that's Korean, I believe. It's great. It's a great film. So
that one's pretty intense. I think they're working on a series based off of that.
Yeah, like I think a spin-off of it. So I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be intense. Oh man, that's awesome, guys. Jaron, Ketrick, I want to thank you for being so generous with your times, and I apologize for all the technical issues, Ketrick.
No problem.
Yeah.
Now that I know, StreamYard doesn't like Wi-Fi, so just turn it off.
Apparently not. Jeez, not when it comes to your phone. Dude, God damn.
Yeah, but since I turned the Wi-Fi off, it hasn't messed up since.
Yeah, no glitches. You're coming in. You both are coming in at a higher resolution than I am. I look very faded on my end.
It looks good on this side.
Oh, you're sweet. I'll send payment. Thank you, sir. Oh, guys, we're gonna have to have you back on to really talk about was it the Reaper Man? Is that right?
Yeah, the Reaper Man is my other one that I premiered with this one that's just currently released. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out now that I know about it, and have you on and hopefully without technical glitches, and kind of continue our creative conversation.
All right, sounds great.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, thanks again for being so generous with your time and coming on and chatting with me and introducing our audience to your work.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Stick around for a few minutes while we sign off. But again, to everybody that caught the broadcast, thanks so much for all your time too. And of course, to our sponsors, to Mutiny Information Cafe. If you're going to start a revolution, make sure you're caffeinated. And to Hellfire Entertainment, thanks so much for rebroadcasting us on your social media, to Groovy TV, and of course to Alien Donut Films and Angela Joseph Productions. Thanks for putting up with my shit. And of course, to our producers, Lily Fisher, Amanda Armstrong, and Stefan Santa Cruz. And everybody out there, be good, be kind, help each other out during tough times, and stay spooky, everybody. Have a